the red light on. Okay, we're recording.
Don't worry about the light. Watch the latency.
Levels look stable, but look at that connection. It's fluctuating wildly. It's jumping from, what, 30 milliseconds to 400?
It doesn't matter. They're scanning the frequencies again, I'm telling you.
You think so?
I know so. If the VPN holds for an hour, it's a miracle. If it drops, we just switch to the backup encrypted channel on the localized mesh.
Right. The backup.
Just keep talking. If even 10 people hear this clearly, we've won the day.
Okay, right. Okay. Welcome to the Dead Zone. This isn't your typical deep dive. We aren't here to sell you a mattress or tell you about the latest productivity hack to shave 4 seconds off your email routine. Not gonna happen.
So we are here because we got our hands on a document that, well, frankly, it terrified me.
And you don't scare?
I don't scare. I look at market crashes, sovereign debt defaults, supply chain collapses. That's my breakfast. I'm an analyst. I'm used to bad news. But this is different.
It's not fear you're feeling. That's not what it is. It's the weight of a sentence being passed. A sentence.
We're looking at the Internal Report 2026. It's such a dry, boring, corporate title for what it really is.
Right.
It's a death warrant for human cognitive independence.
Exactly. Let's unpack that. The report calls it cognitive stratification. That's the headline.
The euphemism, you mean?
Right. But when you dig into the data, and we have pages of charts, projections, and internal memos here, what it's actually describing is the splitting of the human species.
A fork in the road.
Not along lines of race or even traditional wealth, but biology. It's biological. There are those who program and those who are programmed.
And we aren't talking about coding skills here. I don't care if you know Python or Rust or whatever.
No, this is more fundamental.
We are talking about the basic, fundamental ability to process reality. The report outlines the construction of a digital wall. But listen, you have to understand, this isn't the Berlin Wall. It's not some barrier of censorship or barbed wire that you can see and hate.
It's subtle.
It's a warm bath. It's comfortable. It is an algorithmically generated enclosure designed to boil you alive while you scroll.
Yeah.
You don't even feel the temperature rising.
That is the core theme we are diving into today, the Great Divide. We're going to look at why the wealthiest people on Earth, the very people building this warm bath, are paying absolute fortunes to keep their own children completely offline.
It's the ultimate hypocrisy.
We're going to talk about the rise of a new demographic class called digital trash. And yes, before you get offended, that is the actual brutal term used in the report.
It's a designation of disposability. They see a segment of the population as a waste product.
It is. We're also going to discuss cloud serfdom, why your smart coffee maker is actually a shackle, and finally we're going to get into hardware sovereignty.
A way out. The resistance.
Why a graphics card, a simple GPU, is now a weapon of resistance.
This is the most important hour of audio you will hear this year. I'm not being hyperbolic. Because the window to act, it's closing.
Yeah.
Fast.
So let's start with the money. I follow the financial trails. That's my job. You want to know what the future looks like?
You never listen to the keynotes.
Never. Don't look at what the tech giants are selling in their splashy presentations. Look at what they are buying for themselves in private.
Precisely. Watch their hands, not their mouths.
There's a data point in the report right at the beginning of the first section regarding the Waldorf Peninsula Private School. It's right in the heart of Silicon Valley. I mean, it's surrounded by the HQs of Google, Apple, Meta.
The belly of the beast.
And the tuition has just hit $50,000 a year per child. That's a massive sum, even for that area. But here's where it gets really interesting.
It's the punchline.
The selling point of this school isn't that it has the most advanced tablets or the newest VR headsets. The selling point is what is missing. It's that it has none of them.
Zero. The black hole for electronics. I've seen the brochure for this place. It reads like something from the 19th century.
No Wi-Fi, no tablets until the 8th grade. The report details the curriculum. Clay modeling, knitting, physical exercise.
And Latin.
And Latin, of all things. Why are the architects of our digital future paying 50 grand to have their kids learn a dead language?
Because Latin forces you to understand structure. It forces logic. It's grammar in its purest form. It's not about speaking it with someone. It's about the cognitive discipline required to learn it. It builds the architecture of the mind.
But the hypocrisy.
Oh, the hypocrisy is profound. The parents sending their kids to this school, these aren't, Luddites living in a cabin somewhere.
Not at all.
These are the executives from the biggest tech firms. These are the vice presidents of engagement. The architects of the addictive soft algorithms.
The people who literally A/B test the color of a notification button to make sure it triggers the maximum dopamine response in your brain, to make sure you click it.
Exactly. They know exactly what they're building. They are the drug dealers who refuse to let their own children sample the product.
That's a strong comparison.
Is it? They know that if you put a screen in front of a 6-year-old, you aren't educating them. You are colonizing their attention span before they've even developed the capacity to descend it. You're strip mining their focus for profit.
It brings up this incredible reversal of status. I mean, think back to the year 2000. I remember the rhetoric vividly. The digital divide was about access.
Oh yeah, digital inclusivity.
We were fighting for it, trying to get a laptop into the hands of every child because we genuinely believed that was the key to the future. If you had the tech, you were rich. If you didn't, you were left behind.
And now, in 2026, the polarity has completely flipped. The internet has become fast food. It is cheap calories for the brain.
Okay, I want to push on that analogy because it feels a little too convenient. Is it really fast food? Or is that just elitism talking?
But
Because access to information is power, isn't it? If a kid in a rural village has a smartphone, they have the Library of Alexandria in their pocket. How can that be fast food?
that's the trap, you see. That's the warm bath argument in action. Yes, theoretically, on paper, they have the Library of Alexandria, but are they in the library?
What do you mean?
No. The algorithm doesn't take them to the library. The algorithm takes them to the candy shop in the lobby. It knows they're more likely to spend their attention on the candy.
Okay, break that down for me.
Think about the nutritional value. If you are wealthy today, physically, what do you eat? You eat organic, you eat slow food, you pay a premium for ingredients that haven't been processed, that are clean.
Right.
But if you are poor, you eat processed sugar, high fructose corn syrup, fillers. Why? Because it's cheap, it's available, and it hits the dopamine receptors in your brain immediately. It's engineered to be addictive.
Hyper-palatable, that's the industry term.
The internet is now the same. The digital trash class, the report's term, not mine, is fed a diet of algorithmic dopamine. Infinite scrolling, 15-second clips, outrage bait, context-free snippets of arguments. It's mental junk food.
It feels like you're consuming information.
But you're not. You're actually just consuming stimulation. There's no nutritional value. It passes right through you, leaving you anxious and hungry for the next hit.
While the elite consume organic experiences.
Yes, they consume silence. They consume paper books. They consume boredom. They consume human-to-human interaction, face-to-face. Silence has become a luxury good.
And the market reflects that.
The report mentions a 400% price hike in screen-free schools across California and Switzerland. 400%. That is the market screaming that being offline is the ultimate status symbol.
There is another trend mentioned here. They call it silence as a service. This one blew my mind. I actually looked up the real estate data referenced in the footnotes to verify it because it sounded insane.
Did it check out?
It checks out. It used to be that you wanted the penthouse with the best fiber optic connection and 5G coverage on every corner. You wanted smart home integration. That was the selling point.
Top-of-line connectivity.
Now, the most expensive apartments in New York and London are in the silent zones. These are areas where there is physically no 5G or 6G coverage, or the buildings themselves have active signal suppressors built into the walls.
A Faraday cage as a luxury amenity. I mean, just think about how dystopian that is. You are paying extra to block out the very infrastructure the rest of society is being forced to rely on.
People are paying more to live in a dead zone than they are to live in a hyper-connected city center.
And it doesn't stop there.
No. Then you have these dopamine detox retreats. This is where it gets almost funny, if it weren't so sad. CEOs paying thousands and thousands of dollars to go sit in a cabin in the woods that has no clocks and no phones.
They're paying for the privilege of hearing their own thoughts. A privilege that used to be free. And that is harder than it sounds. Much harder.
Well, that's the thing. The report describes the reaction of people who try this. They don't just get bored. They go into withdrawal, clinical withdrawal.
It's physiological. It's not in your head. We have literally rewired our brains to expect a hit of validation or stimulation every few seconds. When you take that away, the brain panics. Cortisol spikes. It's the dead zone in the mind, the inability to self-soothe.
Let's try something. A challenge for anyone listening right now. I want to make this tangible.
Whatever.
I want you, the person listening to this transmission, to try and stare out a window for just 10 minutes. Not 30, 10. Don't check your device. Don't touch your pocket to see if it's there. Don't put on music. Just 10 minutes of absolute unstimulated observation of the physical world.
Most of them won't make it past minute 3. I bet money on it.
You really think so?
I know so. They will feel a physical itch, a phantom vibration in their leg. They'll suddenly remember an email they have to send right now, an urgent message. It's an illusion.
It's the anxiety kicking in.
That anxiety you feel, that is the sound of your cognitive autonomy dying. That inability to be alone with your own thoughts is exactly what this system is designed to produce. If you cannot sit in silence, you cannot think deeply. And if you cannot think deeply, you are easily programmed.
Which leads us directly into the second pillar of this report. And this is where the language stops being about real estate and starts getting incredibly harsh. It's about human capital.
This is where it gets brutal.
The term used is digital trash.
It's a horrific term. It implies that these people are not just left behind, they are waste products of the digital economy. Human exhaust.
Define it for us. Who is the digital trash class? Is it just people who spend too much time on TikTok?
It's deeper than that. According to this report, it is a segment of the population whose attention is 100% colonized by algorithms.
Colonized.
That's the right word.
Yeah.
These are people who have effectively lost the agency to choose what they look at. They don't search, they are fed. Their entire information diet is determined by a machine optimizing for engagement, not for truth or well-being.
The statistic here is chilling. 82% of big tech executives restrict their own children's AI use to 1 hour a week. 1 hour.
The dealers don't use the product. We established that.
Meanwhile, in public schools, due to budget optimization, which is just corporate speak for cutting costs, 60% of human teachers have been replaced by AI tutors.
And there it is. There's your stratification. This is the caste system being poured into the concrete foundation of society. The rich kids get human mentorship, debate, nuance, and critical thinking. They get to look a teacher in the eye and argue, to be challenged.
Poor kids.
The poor kids get an AI that is optimized to help them pass standardized tests and, more importantly, to keep them docile and compliant.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second. Isn't an AI tutor better than an overworked, underpaid teacher in a crowded classroom of 40 kids? The AI has infinite patience. It knows every fact in history. Theoretically, couldn't this democratize education?
In theory, yes. In a perfect world, maybe. But in practice, you have to look at the incentive structure. Who programmed the AI? What are its goals?
To educate, presumably?
No. Its goal is to create a predictable output. It isn't programmed to create a free thinker who might disrupt the system. It's programmed to create a worker who can follow instructions. It rewards compliance. It rewards the correct answer, not the interesting question. We are building a caste system where the lower caste is trained by machines specifically to serve machines.
And the impact on the brain is measurable. They call it cognitive atrophy. There is a study cited here regarding deep reading.
This is the death of a long-form thought. This is maybe the most important part of the whole report.
The study shows that the average user in this digital trash demographic cannot maintain focus on a text longer than 3 pages without needing some form of external stimulation. A notification, a pop-up, a sound. Something has to interrupt them.
3 pages, that's nothing. That's a pamphlet.
It's barely a blog post. I mean, it's a few hundred words.
It's the destruction of linear thinking. If you can't hold a complex argument in your head for more than 3 pages, how can you understand history? How can you understand political philosophy? How can you read a legal contract?
You can't.
You can't. You can only understand slogans. You become susceptible to populism, to marketing, to anyone who can package a complex lie into a 10-word headline that fits on a screen.
And it's affecting how we speak, too. The report calls it linguistic erosion. I've noticed this in myself, actually. It's subtle.
We all have. It's insidious. We are flattening ourselves.
You type a message to ChatGPT or Claude, and you find yourself subconsciously simplifying your grammar.
Right. So the predictive text guesses it faster, or so the translation AI doesn't mess it up.
We are changing our organic human language to be more machine-readable.
We are losing metaphors. We are losing individual style, the quirks of how we phrase things. We are becoming prompt engineers of our own conversations.
Please rewrite this to be professional. Make this sound friendlier.
We are outsourcing the tone of our soul to a statistical model designed by a 25-year-old in Palo Alto.
Because if you speak with too much nuance, the machine gets confused, so you dumb it down, and then the machine trains on that dumbed-down data, which brings us to the Ouroboros effect, the snake eating its own tail.
The technical term is model collapse.
Explain.
This is the existential threat to the internet itself, the whole thing.
Explain the mechanics of model collapse for someone who isn't a machine learning engineer.
Okay, think of a photocopy of a photocopy. The first generation of AI, GPT-4, Claude, the models we had a few years ago, was trained on human data.
The original document.
Right. Books written by humans, articles by humans, Reddit threads by humans. It was messy, it was creative, it was weird, it had the spark of humanity in it. The source material was organic.
Okay.
But now, humans are using AI to generate content on a massive scale. Marketing copy, news articles, student essays, code, it's all being written by AI. So the internet is flooding with AI-generated text.
So the next generation of AI.
The next generation of AI is training on that AI-generated text. It's a photocopy of the first photocopy.
And then the next one is a photocopy of that.
Exactly. And each time, the quality degrades. The variance disappears. The weirdness, the creativity, it all vanishes. It becomes this gray goo of averaged, mediocre, predictable information. The edges get sanded off. Nothing surprising happens anymore because the model is just predicting the most likely average of the previous average.
This aligns with the dead internet theory mentioned in the report. It claims that by 2026, which is right now, 75% of web traffic is just bots talking to bots.
We are walking through a graveyard, and we think it's a city. You go into a comment section on a news site, and you think you're seeing a debate, a clash of ideas.
No.
No. You're seeing two engagement algorithms fighting each other to generate ad revenue. One bot posts an inflammatory comment, another bot replies with synthetic outrage, and the ad impressions tick up and up and up.
And the human user.
The human user is just a bystander consuming a secondary product. We aren't the customers. We are the waste processing units for this digital sludge. Our eyeballs are just there to verify the transaction between the machines.
That is a horrific image, waste processing units. So if we take this to its economic conclusion, what does the future of work look like for this digital trash class? If you can't read deeply and you can't write without an LLM assisting you, what is your value to the economy?
It's grim. It is so grim. I look at students today, and it's not that they are lazy. It's not a moral failing. It's that they literally cannot structure a thought without a prompt. They stare at a blank page, and they are paralyzed.
So what's their economic fate?
Service. Biological verification.
Biological verification, you mean like...
Clicking CAPTCHAs. Proving to the bots that they are human so the bots can keep transacting with each other. Labeling data for the next AI model. Is this a stop sign? Is this a cat? Operating delivery drones from a warehouse in Nevada.
So jobs that require just enough biological motor skills that a robot is still too expensive.
But zero cognitive independence. You become a human-in-the-loop component for a machine system, a biological cog.
So the elite are the architects, and the rest are the maintenance crew.
Not even maintenance. Maintenance implies you understand how it works. They're the lubricants, the biological grease that keeps the machines running smoothly.
Okay, I want to pivot here, because if we stay on this, I'm going to get too depressed to finish the broadcast.
Fair enough.
We need to talk about the mechanism of control. It's not just about dumbing people down, it's about stripping them of ownership. We need to talk about cloud serfdom.
This is the scary part. This is where it goes from society is getting dumber to society is a prison.
The report opens this section with a parable. Well, it's not a parable. It's presented as a case study about a coffee maker, a specific anecdote about a high-end smart coffee machine.
I love this story because it is so absurd and so real at the same time. It encapsulates everything wrong with the modern digital economy.
Walk us through it.
Okay, a guy buys a high-end coffee maker. $400. It's smart, of course. Everything has to be smart now.
Yeah.
It connects to Wi-Fi. It has an app. He has to register it with his email. All the usual nonsense.
Right.
But one morning, his internet goes down. A standard outage, maybe a storm took out the line, happens all the time.
Of course.
He goes to the kitchen, half asleep, to brew a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
He puts the beans in. He fills it with water. He presses a physical button on the machine, and nothing happens. A little red light just blinks at him.
So the machine is broken.
No, that's the kicker. The machine is working perfectly according to its programming. It refuses to brew because it cannot contact the central server in, I don't know, Ohio to verify the subscription status of the coffee beans he's using.
Wait. The beans have a subscription status?
Yes. It uses DRM digital rights management on the pod or the RFID tag in the bag of beans. The machine has to phone home to ensure you didn't buy unauthorized third-party beans or that your monthly brew pass payment went through.
So no internet.
No verification, no coffee.
That is insanity. That is a $400 brick sitting on your counter because a server thousands of miles away is offline.
That is the shift from ownership to tenancy. You bought the machine, you bought the beans, but you don't own the process of making the coffee. You are renting the functionality from a corporation that can turn it off at any time for any reason.
It's the BMW example all over again. I remember when that news broke and people lost their minds.
The heated seats. The hardware is physically in the car you bought. The heating coils are right there under the leather. But you have to pay a monthly subscription fee to turn them on via software. If you stop paying, or if the server crashes, you freeze.
This is subscription everything. Fridges that lock you out if you miss a payment, washing machines that won't spin. It's a rental economy for your own life.
And this is why the term cloud serfdom is so perfect. It's a feudalism analogy.
It fits perfectly.
Think about the Middle Ages. A serf worked the land, but he didn't own it. The Lord owned the land. The serf just got to keep enough of the harvest to survive.
And
Today, we are cloud serfs. We create the data, the photos, the emails, the documents, our thoughts. But we don't own the land it sits on. We don't own the server. We don't own the platform.
And the Lord Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon can kick you off the land at any moment, for any reason, with no recourse.
Which leads to the next concept in the report, data exile. This is the integration of a de facto social credit system into cloud services.
Yeah.
And it's not just about losing your email account.
Right. People think, so what? I get banned. I'll just make a new email.
You can't. It's not that simple anymore. If your main account is banned, maybe you said something the algorithm flagged as harmful, or maybe it was just a glitch, a false positive. It happens all the time. You don't just lose your messages.
You lose everything tied to it.
You lose access to your banking because it uses two-factor authentication linked to that email. You get locked out of your smart home because the locks are tied to that account. Your car won't start. Your digital wallet is gone.
You lose your memories.
That's the emotional killer.
Yeah.
That's the one that really gets people. They have 10, 15 years of photos stored in the cloud. Their kids growing up, their wedding. They don't have backups. If that account goes dark, those memories cease to exist. We have outsourced our memory to a handful of corporations.
We don't keep physical photo albums anymore.
And because the memory is external, it is editable. This is where it gets really dark.
This is the concept of AI gaslighting. This was the part of the report that made me physically nauseous when I read it.
It should. It's the logical endpoint of all this.
Walk us through how that works.
Okay, so imagine you remember a specific news event from 3 years ago. A riot, a political scandal, a scientific discovery, a speech. You remember it clearly. You were there. You watched it live.
You go to search for it.
You go to search for it to prove a point to a friend. But the algorithm has decided that event is no longer politically convenient or brand safe.
So it hides the result. It censors it.
Worse, hiding it would make you suspicious. You'd know something was up. Instead, the AI generates a summary that slightly alters what happened. It changes the context. It downplays the severity. Or Google dynamically edits the search results to push a different, more acceptable narrative to the top, burying the primary sources under pages of AI-generated junk.
Or what about photos?
Or in the case of photos, AI tools can now retroactively edit objects or people out of your own stored photos in the cloud. Without your knowledge?
It's 1984. It's the Ministry of Truth.
It's 1984, but efficient. It's automated. Orwell imagined a Ministry of Truth where people had to physically run around burning newspapers and rewriting articles. It was labor-intensive. We don't need that. The algorithm does it dynamically, in real time, for every single user individual.
So my search results might be different from yours.
Exactly. It is a silent, dynamic update of reality. You can't prove it changed because you don't have the physical copy to compare it to. You're left thinking, did I remember that wrong? Maybe I'm crazy.
You are gaslit by your own archive.
And because everyone is staring at their own personalized feed, nobody sees the same reality. We can't even agree on what happened yesterday, let alone 10 years ago. It's the death of shared reality.
This is terrifying. We are painting a picture of a world where we own nothing, we can't think for ourselves, and our personal and collective history is being edited by machines while we sit in the dark waiting for our smart coffee maker to get permission to brew.
It is a nightmare, but, and I need to stress this, it is not hopeless. It's not over.
Right. We promised a survival manual. We've looked at the horror. Now let's look at the exit strategy. Segment 4 of the report, hardware sovereignty.
This is where we stop being victims and start being tacticians. This is where we stop being serfs and start building our own fortresses. This is where we take back the keys.
The report talks about the Iron Compute Census. That sounds like a government program.
It is. The governments of the world, they know that hardware is the only thing that really matters. Software is fluid, it's ephemeral. Hardware is real, it's physical.
And that's why we're seeing these restrictions.
Why do you think the U.S. government has been so aggressive about restricting chip exports to China and other nations? It's not just a trade war. It is about controlling who has the physical capacity to think independently, to run their own models.
And the specific metric they care about, the report says, is VRAM video RAM.
High memory GPUs, the new gold, the new oil. If you have a graphics card with 24 gigabytes of VRAM or more, you are a strategic asset. Or a strategic threat, depending on who's looking at you.
Why 24 gigs? What's magical about that number?
That is the threshold, is the amount of memory required to run a competent large language model locally, on your own desk, in your own home, without touching the cloud.
Meaning you don't need OpenAI or Google or any of them.
Meaning you don't need the sensor. If you run an open source model like Llama or Mixtral or whatever the latest one is on your own hardware, nobody can tell it what it can or cannot say. Nobody can lobotomize it with corporate safety filters. Nobody can throttle your access or charge you per word. It resides on your metal. It answers to you.
This is the local first movement they talk about.
It's the digital underground. It's the new resistance, people building offline nodes. They are setting up mesh networks where devices talk directly to each other via Bluetooth or LoRaWAN without going through an ISP or a central server.
It's the digital equivalent of ham radio.
It is. So if the internet goes down or gets shut down by the authorities, these people can still communicate. They can still share files, and they can still compute. They can still think.
The report actually offers a definition of a free person for the year 2026. I have it highlighted here. It's just one sentence.
Read it. It's the most powerful sentence in the entire document. It's the whole thesis.
It says, a free person is one who can process data, generate code, or retrieve information without touching the cloud.
That is the bar. That is the new standard for freedom. If you have to ask a server in California or Shenzhen for permission to multiply two numbers or write a paragraph, you are not free. You are a tenant in someone else's mind.
So let's get practical. The listener's probably asking, okay, what do I do? I'm not a coder. I can't build a server rack in my basement.
You don't have to.
The report has a section called the prepper list, but it's not about canned beans and bunkers. It's about digital survival.
And step one is accessible to absolutely everyone. Backup. Cold storage.
Explain cold storage for the non-technical.
It means offline, disconnected, that's it. Get your data off the cloud now. Buy physical hard drives, not one, but two, at least. Mirror them, copy the same data to both. Download your photos from Google, export your emails, download your music files. If it's not on a drive you can hold in your hand, you do not own it, period.
And put one in a fireproof box.
Put one in a fireproof box in your house and give the other one to a trusted family member or a friend who lives in a different city.
Yeah.
That is your insurance policy against data exile, against being erased.
Okay, that's doable. Step 2.
Hardware. Stop buying the newest, sleekest, thinnest device that is glued shut and designed to be unrepairable. You want repairability. Buy older, enterprise-grade laptops, ThinkPads, frameworks, machines you can open with a simple screwdriver.
And the operating system. That's a big hurdle for people.
Learn Linux.
That scares people. You know it does. Linux implies command lines and hacking and complexity.
It's not 1999 anymore. A modern Linux distribution like Mint or Ubuntu is as easy to use as Windows or a Mac. But here is the fundamental difference. Windows and Mac OS are surveillance platforms that disguised as operating systems. They report back to the mothership. They track your keystrokes for optimization. Linux is an open field. It's silence. It reports to no one but you. The report calls Linux the language of resistance. It's difficult at first, yes, but freedom is difficult. Convenience is the cage.
And step 3. This one is my favorite because it circles all the way back to the beginning. It feels almost poetic.
Paper.
Paper.
Buy physical books, manuals for your car and appliances, encyclopedias, history, philosophy, fiction, whatever interests you. Build a library.
Why? In an age of infinite information and AI, why buy a heavy dead tree?
Because a physical book cannot be patched. Amazon cannot reach into your bookshelf in the middle of the night and delete a chapter because it's become controversial. They can't edit the text over the air. A book is a static, unchangeable anchor of truth. If you own the book, you own the knowledge. You own the history.
It's funny, we started with the elite paying $50,000 for a school with books, and we end with the resistance being built on books.
It's the ultimate technology. It works without electricity. It lasts for hundreds of years. It is immune to hackers. If you want to survive the cognitive stratification, you need to build a physical, analog library. You need to become the curator of human knowledge for your own family, for your own community.
We're coming up on time. The signal is, yeah, look at that waveform on the monitor. It's degrading fast. The packet loss is hitting 40, 50%.
We're losing the handshake. They found the node. They're throttling it. We have maybe 30 seconds before the kill switch hits.
Okay, we have to wrap this up. To everyone listening, maybe you're on a commute to a job you hate, listening on a device that is tracking your heart rate and your location as we speak. Maybe you feel that dead zone in your head we talked about earlier, that itch.
Don't let it win. Fight it.
We want to thank you for tuning into this transmission. It's not easy to face this stuff. It's much, much easier to just keep scrolling.
Can I say one last thing before they cut us off?
What they?
Don't fear the silence. I know it hurts. I know the withdrawal is real. But real life, your life, the one that actually matters, begins where the Wi-Fi ends.
Yeah.
Disconnect tonight. Just for an hour. Go outside. Look up at the sky.
It hasn't been rendered yet.
It's still analog. It's the only thing that is. Remember that.
Stay safe out there. End of transmission.
Cut it. Now,